conservatism used to be the tradition of the common man. It lived in his instincts, in his prejudice, rightly understood, in his reverence for the blood and the memory and the wisdom of his ancestors. And it was a way of seeing the world that kept history close to chest. Even as progress demanded, he looked forward. And it was also about the arrangement, like how we actually live together, how we freely associate it, how we love the old while shaping the new. And now we hate the old and resent the new. Even those who claim to defend principle have actually drained the tradition of its meaning in more than a few ways. And you can see it in how race is actually treated. Modern conservatives make little of it except when it becomes a weapon. And in doing so, they participate in the very erasure they claim to resist. We've become the caricature we despise. Empty vessels shouting about virtue while forgetting our inheritance. The expectation, especially for the black conservative, is to disown the institutions that formed him, to trade memory for approval. And that expectation actually mirrors the broader disease of the West. In the name of multiculturalism, we are told to repudiate our own traditions for the sake of strange gods. And we blame the left for that impulse. But we've internalized it ourselves. To stop seeing color, to act as if systemic history never shaped the ground beneath our feet, has become a new idol, a polite superstition disguised as virtue. But there's no colorless person. There's only the person willing to see and the one afraid of what memory reveals. So our institutions, the ones built from our labor, our worship, our art, they still want to live on. They want to associate, to breathe in the world again. But we can't freely associate when the price of belonging is to forget ourselves. So now conservatism feels hollow. It's become a jersey for a team, not a vessel for wisdom. What once clothed deeper truth has become just the clothing itself. Tradition turned into fashion statements, basically. A symbol without soul. And, there's always some new grievance wearing the mask of principle selectively applied, emptied of moral substance. And that's what I want to talk about today. How a tradition built on inheritance can lose itself by trying too hard to belong. And how memory, archived or forgotten, decides whether a culture still remembers who it is. So now we're going to go and kind of contextualize what it is that I'm even talking about. Because y'all know sometimes it be sounding like I'm just not even on the same planet as everybody else. Like, why couldn't we just take the easy thing? Like, why couldn't we just, say the thing that anybody can see? Well, that's just not really who I am, man. If you feel it, you feel it. And if you don't, you don't. But, so we're going to start with this Bad Bunny clip where he's telling people to learn Spanish, which I think you guys are going to be shocked by how I handle this. I don't think I'm going to handle it how people expect me to. So here it is. Hold on one second.
De todo, demostrando que nuestra huella y nuestra nadie nunca la podrá sacar. And if you didn't understand what I just said, you have 4 months to learn. We have a great logro.
Okay, so I don't mind this clip. First of all, let me say the simple stuff first. I don't mind this clip at all. I think there are 2 things really 3 things that make people well-rounded, make people well-adjusted, and make people highly intelligent. Being at least bilingual, but especially multilingual. So the advice to learn a new language is never bad. It can never be derogatory for somebody to tell you to learn another language, because that's a trademark of a well-adjusted person. Also to be well-read and well-traveled. Those 3 things. And I'm like a quarter bilingual, because I know a little bit of Hebrew. I'm trying to learn it. But yeah, so I just want to say that I think the offense around this stuff is just ridiculous. And yeah, you should want to know another language. Like, everybody should be you know, multilingual. And this guy, the next clip I'm gonna play, I'm gonna roast him a little bit because he's dumb. Clearly, he's a fucking idiot. But I want you guys to hear it first. And yeah, I think I'm gonna do it like this.
About saving America, you'll boycott the entire Super Bowl, not just the halftime show. Football is the most masculine sport in our country, now being used to feminize a nation of young boys by bringing in Bad Bunny for the halftime show. This guy is a notorious drag performer who embraces transgenderism and promotes it in his shows, even appearing with busty prosthetic breasts. It's time to stop talking about how bad we hate this trend in America and show the NFL that we will not put up with their corruption of our society any longer. Boycott the Super Bowl. If you're serious about saving America.
So first of all, if you're football is not the most masculine sport. Let's just start there. You have people beating the fuck out of each other in the octagon and UFC, like beat each other to death down here. And you want to tell me some niggas in some tights throwing a ball back and forth and hugging each other on the line is the most masculine sport? Shut the fuck up. Also, if your masculinity is threatened because of a liberal arts performer, I mean, it's liberal arts, guys. Come on, like, let's grow the fuck up. Like, let's be so for real. You weren't masculine in the first place, so I mean, y'all gotta stop being pussies, bro. Like, y'all. I don't. This is. You sound like a hoe to me. All right. And if I was Bad Bunny, I would show up in some titties. All right. I'm not Bad Bunny, so I wouldn't do that. But I'm just saying, I would, just for the simple fact that, like, all right, who the fuck is gonna stop me? You know what I'm saying? Like, who the fuck's gonna stop me? Like, y'all be dragging it, bro. Like, y'all try to make everything a culture war, and it's exhausting, bro. Y'all gotta stop, bro. Y'all gotta stop. But yeah, so that's just weird to me. And then another thing too is this dumbass, Tommy Lauren, I think is how you say her last name. Lauren is how you say her last name. I'm not sure, but it's like, bro, y'all gotta stop, like, race baiting all the time, bro. Y'all gotta stop race baiting all the time, and then in the same breath say that, like, y'all don't see color in all this goofy ass shit. Like, I'm high key, like, just fed up altogether with how the Republicans have handled cultural issues recently. It's really saddening. And yeah, I don't know, bro. I just, it's hard to be a Republican these days. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Y'all better be glad I'm really into history, because if I wasn't, then I wouldn't be fucking with y'all, bro. I would not be fucking with the Republicans. It's history is y'all's saving grace. The fact that the Republican Party was founded by freed Negroes and white abolitionists. You know what I'm saying? Y'all better hold steadfast to that history, bro. Because without that, like, I couldn't be over here with y'all, bro. Y'all are fucking weird. But check this shit out. This goofy, bro. And we all make blunders. We all make gaffes. I once said that the Declaration of Independence said we the people, but I meant the Constitution. And I can imagine people, you know, cooking me for that clip if I had a bigger audience or whatever. So it's, you know, it's not that she made a mistake. It's just that I didn't have resentment toward the Constitution because I thought it said something that it didn't say, or resentment toward the Declaration of Independence because I confused it with the Constitution or anything like that. I just made a mistake. Whereas she has resentment toward Bad Bunny on a false premise. She's trying to say he's not American. Listen to this stupid ass shit.
The last thing I want to talk to you about is, because I'm about ready to do my commentary on it, but do you think Bad Bunny is a good choice for the Super Bowl?
I'm not that, like, knowledgeable about him, but it seems fine, and I don't know why it's a big deal. Seems like a great American artist, so sure.
He's not an American artist, but
he's Puerto Rican. That's part of America, dear.
Fucking stupid. Stupid. Bro, idiotic, dog. Like, you so ready to be racist that you didn't even pull out a fucking map and realize that it's a fucking U.S. territory. What the fuck, bro? The argument is not Puerto Rico should become a U.S. territory. The argument is Puerto Rico should become a state. The fuck, bro? Y'all are slow, bro. Y'all are slow. Bro, this shit just be disappointing, bro. Like, y'all make being a black conservative just the most disgusting, nasty shit. Like, I understand why when I meet people and, you know, we get to having like dialogue and conversation, they assume that more progressive than I actually am. And I also understand why, like, when they actually find my content, if they ever find my content, they're like, wow, you don't talk like other conservatives. And it's just because, like, y'all are gross, icky people. Like, it's y'all are so afraid of losing this country to minorities that, like, y'all take any opportunity or moment to just, like, I don't know, stoop to the lowest levels of irrationality. Like, what does it matter? What the fuck does it matter if he's American or not? If he's a fucking performer for a sports game? Like, this is what y'all care about? And this actually reminds me of that I don't know if it was American Dad episode or Family Guy episode where they tried to break down, like, why people go so crazy for sports, and it's because it's the only way that they can escape from their miserable lives, basically, was the point. And it's like, I wouldn't go that far. I think sports are important. I think that they're these sort of embedded, like American football, for instance, is this sort of embedded institution. It's a cultural identifier. So I do get some of this, but y'all not even thinking that far, bro. Y'all are just weak, scary, rotten people, bro. Like, y'all are just, I don't know, bro. And to the Latino people that are, like, Republicans who are upset at all of this, welcome, okay? I've been a black conservative my whole life, my whole adult life, because who the fuck has a political leaning when they're a kid? Nobody. Even if we try to convince ourselves that we do, we usually don't. But even then, I was pretty much how I am now. But I'm just saying, and you know, the Kendrick thing, this happened. I think the last time I went viral was for telling white Republicans to shut the fuck up about Kendrick, because they were calling Kendrick and his Super Bowl performance a DEI performance. And now, fast forward to today, Latinos who probably thought they were safe are realizing they're not safe. If you're not white and you're a Republican, you will deal with the weirdest shit. Like, this is weird shit. And the same people who are perpetuating this weird ass shit will straight up tell you to your face that they don't see color, or try to make it seem like race is not a determining factor in how things go. If you get this upset about a halftime performance that hadn't even happened yet, just because he's not going to be speaking perfect English the whole time, then how am I to trust you as a legislator to actually give two fucks about what black people go through? Just saying. I'm just saying. Like, this, I'm just saying, bro. Racism is real. It's real. We feel it. We mourn it. I don't know if this is racism necessarily, but I know that, like, the framing of Bad Bunny as bad for America, I think it's just incredibly stupid. And so, you know, conservatives are obviously losing it over this, Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl or whatever. And, you know, it's just, I don't know, man. I think people just need to go back to the Enlightenment period and really, like, study it, because the Enlightenment made Western civilization open to other cultures. It made it open and absorptive, you know. Western culture it basically can integrate itself with the stranger without losing itself, if that makes sense. It can integrate the stranger without losing itself. That's what Western culture can do. That's what Western institutions can do. They can integrate themselves without losing themselves. They can integrate the stranger, rather, without losing themselves. And the key condition is continuity without repudiation, right? So we expect that, you know, an immigrant is going to come here and have respect for our institutions, you know, learn our language, which Bad Bunny clearly can speak English because he told your ass to go learn Spanish and English. So, you know, it's not like Bad Bunny is like an ignorant Puerto Rican person that just doesn't, I don't know. Like, I don't even know how to put this in words because it's just so dumb. And y'all know I do philosophy, so I thought about this for a while. And I didn't really want to do the Nietzsche thing because, I mean, that concept is pretty straightforward. But I did just want to offer some pushback to my fellow Republicans, man, and just let y'all know that true conservatism doesn't fear cultural encounter, you know? It actually fears the loss of reference points when inclusion basically becomes erasure, you know? So we don't want to erase what we've built, what we have, in favor of other people, like outsiders, the strangers, you know, the bears or strange gods, if you will. But, you know, multiculturalism is more than just that. It's more than just like including the stranger. And we'll get into that. But integration through participation in shared civic and moral order is how we can sort of define multiculturalism here, right? And that's like what multiculturalism should be. It should be integration through participation in shared civic and moral order. Like we share this sort of universal understanding of how great the West is. And I guess a corrupted version of multiculturalism is, you know, repudiation of the inherited order in the name of inclusion. And I don't think that this is what this is. I think Bad Bunny is a successful artist. I don't know much of his music, but he seems to be pretty popular, man. And I'm sure, you know, the same way people felt about Kendrick is probably how a lot of Puerto Ricans, Latinos, you know, the Spanish community are going to feel about Bad Bunny. So if I could advocate and beat the drum for Kendrick Lamar, then I don't see why I can't advocate and beat the drum for Bad Bunny, because I was very happy that Kendrick Lamar performed the Super Bowl, and he was very cultural. He represented for foundational Black Americans, Negroes, you know. He represented for ADOS. He told a story of the Black Israelite, not understood as the Hebrew Israelite cults and camps that do all that weird shit on street corners, but understood as, you know, a biblical inheritance. And I think that was pretty cool. You know, I think that was cool. You know, you read Josephus and you read parts of Tacitus and you see where we went. And, you know, that's a conversation that people don't have. And for him to have that conversation, even about cultural appropriation and all of those things with Not Like Us, and, you know, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. With Samuel L. Jackson as the proverbial spook who sat by the door. You know, it was cool. So, you know, I appreciate other cultures. And I would like to see and hear what Bad Bunny's gonna do. So the Bad Bunny case is, you know, it's the former, you know, it's the legitimate multiculturalism. He's performing within the American institution. He's not tearing it down in any way. Like I don't see him doing that. Regardless of whatever his personal inclinations about sexuality may be, I don't know. I know he's a performer who's big enough to be on those stages, and that's enough for me. And I guess, you know, cultures offer membership, not truth. You know, that's something I learned from Roger Scruton in his treatise on multiculturalism. He said culture offers membership, not truth. You know, membership expands, and truth remains tied to the civilization's moral grammar, if you will. So I guess what I'm saying is that we have to make room for new people, for new culture, man. Like we have to make room for it, but they also have to adhere to our rules and customs and inheritance as well. You know, America's openness, I guess, is itself a virtue of that grammar. It's like an outgrowth of the Enlightenment and Christian humanism. You know, like, you know, what does it mean to be Christian? Because a lot of these conservatives who are so upset, they're gonna lean on Christianity, you know, and say that Jesus is real and, you know, tell the story of our great Messiah. But, you know, it's like we stop there. We say Jesus is real, and it's like we forget Genesis, you know, human beings made in the image of God. You know, that's a very important thing to understand. So when conservatives conflate cultural change with civilizational collapse, they abandon their own philosophical ground, which is prudence and proportion, right? And so the NFL isn't betraying America or anything like that. It's actually performing America's capacity to absorb difference without disintegrating, you know? And I think we have to understand that. We have to understand that the real crisis isn't that Bad Bunny is headlining. It's that some conservatives have forgotten what their civilization actually stands for. Integration through inheritance, not isolation through fear. And so Puerto Rico, is America. Bad Bunny is not foreign to the American story. The NFL didn't lose America's culture. Oh man, it's the commentators actually lost their nerve, you know? Conservatism without confidence in its own absorptive power is just cultural anxiety with better branding. And I guess if you can't stand a Spanish halftime, like hook at halftime, then you never actually understood the enlightenment that made your freedom possible in the first place. So human dignity is always gonna be a part of the conversation for me as a conservative. And yeah, this was disappointing. This was disappointing. But and in other news, we have here. Oh, I forgot the fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene, but I guess we can go to it. Let's check it out. Talk about her a little bit. All right, so Marjorie gonna say Bad Bunny says America has 4 months to learn Spanish before his perverse, unwanted performance at the Super Bowl halftime. It will be a good time to pass my bill to make English the official language of America, and the NFL needs to stop having demonic sexual performances during its halftime shows. Lady, all right, man. He hasn't performed yet, so we don't know what he's gonna do. All right, we don't know what he's gonna do. I don't want to see no trans shit either. I'm gonna be honest about that, but come on, like, give me a fucking break, bro. Honestly. But the whole bill thing is, can we get back to governing, bro? Can we get back? Like, where are the serious people doing serious things? Like, we have homelessness, hunger, we have inflation. Stock market's probably gonna crash soon because that's what happened. That's what history revealed with the .com bubble. We have data centers driving people mad and driving the cost of, or the evaluation of homes down. We have the government literally buying data or collecting data from private companies. There's no constitutionally prescribed right to privacy necessarily in the Constitution. But that's double speak because Constitution, whatever. But the point is that there are all of these the Federal Reserve has little oversight. Honestly, there are so many things that you could be writing a bill about. I'm not necessarily critical of the Israel lobby, but come on now, like, we couldn't find a way to figure out what, I mean, with all of the talk about the Israel lobby and all of this stuff, like, y'all couldn't come up with a bill about lobbying? Oh, but that affects your pockets, because just because you don't take the Israel lobby doesn't mean that you don't take some other lobby. Oh, okay, so it's just weird, man. The culture war stuff is gay to me, bro. It's lame as hell. And we got to get back to serious governance, bro. We got to. So